Hello and welcome. Namaste from New Delhi. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Gautam Roy, and coming up over the next 1 hour. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates two-day Rising North-East Investment Summit in Delhi, urges industry captains to scale up investments in the peaceful and rapidly developing region. India's global outreach on Operation Sindoor expands further as multi-party delegations engage with key global leaders, highlighting India's continued fight against terrorism. Bangladesh government's chief advisor Mohammad Yunus may resign amidst rising political unrest. And China slams Trump administration's move to revoke Harvard University's right to enroll foreign students, says politicization of education will only harm the image and credibility of the US. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the Rising North-East Investors Summit 2025 in New Delhi earlier today, extending a warm welcome to all dignitaries to the event. The Prime Minister expressed pride, warmth and immense confidence in the future of the North-East region. The PM pointed out that there was a time when the North-East was merely called a frontier region, but it's emerging as the front-runner of growth.
ईस्ट से आगे बढ़कर एक्ट ईस्ट के मंत्र पर चले और इसी का परिणाम आज हम देख रहे हैं। एक समय था जब नॉर्थ ईस्ट को सिर्फ फ्रंटियर रीजन कहा जाता था, आज ये ग्रोथ का फ्रंट रनर बन रहा है।
Reaffirming that peace and law and order are the most crucial factors for any region's development, the Prime Minister said that the government has a zero-tolerance policy towards terrorism and insurgency.
किसी भी क्षेत्र के विकास के लिए सबसे जरूरी है शांति और कानून व्यवस्था। आतंकवाद हो या अशांति फैलाने वाले माओवादी, हमारी सरकार जीरो टॉलरेंस की नीति पर चलती है। एक समय था नॉर्थ ईस्ट कहते ही बम, बंदूक और ब्लॉकेड यही याद आता था। इसका बहुत बड़ा नुकसान वहां के युवाओं को उठाना पड़ा। उनके हाथों से अनगिनत मौके निकल गए। हमारा फोकस नॉर्थ ईस्ट के युवाओं के भविष्य पर है। इसलिए हमने एक के बाद एक शांति समझौते किए, युवाओं को विकास की मुख्य धारा में आने का अवसर दिया। पिछले 10-11 साल में 10,000 से ज्यादा युवाओं ने हथियार छोड़कर शांति का रास्ता चुना है।
Reliance Industries Chairman and Managing Director Mukesh Ambani, while speaking at the Rising North-East Investors Summit 2025, underscored that the Northeast is not just rising but roaring. He added that Reliance will double its investments in the northeastern states in the coming days.
The Northeast is not just rising, but to my mind, it is roaring. I make 6 commitments to the Chief Ministers of Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Sikkim and Tripura. First, Reliance has invested up around rupees 30,000 crores in the region in the past 40 years. In the next 5 years, we will more than double our investments with our target at 75,000 crores.
Now, frustrated over recent developments, Chief Advisor of the Interim Government of Bangladesh, Professor Mohammad Yunus, is considering to step down. Reports say Yunus voiced his desire to resign and address the nation through a televised speech during unofficial discussions at an advisory council meeting on Thursday. He talked about his worries over aspersions on his government's performance and duties. Yunus's relationship with political parties and the military has reportedly deteriorated. On Wednesday, it was reported that Powerful Army Chief General Wakar-uz-Zaman has said elections should be held by December, whereas Yunus has been talking about sometime in the middle of next year. Meanwhile, Bangladesh Nationalist Party issued a stark warning that it may be forced to reconsider its cooperation with the interim government if a specific roadmap for holding the next general elections by December is not announced immediately. Yunus's reported threat to stand down comes a day after Bangladesh Nationalist Party held large-scale protests against the interim government. Yunus has promised that polls will be held by June 2026 at the latest, but supporters of the BNP have been demanding that he fix a date. Speaking at a press conference, BNP Standing Committee member Dr. Khandakar Musharraf Hussain said that the primary agenda of this interim government should be to meet the people's highest aspiration, which is a credible national election. He warned that otherwise it will be difficult for the BNP as a party of the people to continue its cooperation with the government. The BNP leader said the interim government must ensure neutrality as it prepares for the upcoming national election and stressed that retaining politically biased individuals in advisory roles is damaging to both the government's image and public confidence. And the leader also stressed the need to examine whether the government's various statements and actions regarding the humanitarian corridor and the Chattogram port are truly serving national interest. He asserted that any decision on such matters should only be taken by a government elected by the people on the basis of national consensus. Let me now bring in DD India's Naval Singh Parmar for more on this, joining us on the phone line from Dhaka. Good afternoon to you, Naval Singh Parmar. Tell us, in the first place, is this confirmed? Did he actually say that he wants to resign and address the nation because he is finding it difficult to move forward with the kind of opposition that he's been facing from different political parties, from different political forces? Because right now, the comments have been attributed to one of his associates or members in his government who's said that he has voiced these sort of concerns.
Yes, well, there are multiple sources, and almost all the leading daily of Bangladesh are carrying the story. And Mr. Nahid Islam, who is very close to him, and he was earlier a advisor in his advisory council. He himself confirmed with the BBC Bangla that Dr. Yunus is thinking over resigning, considering the political scenario in Bangladesh. So the matter is confirmed, and just 10 minutes back, another advisor of his advisory council confirmed that Dr. Yunus was thinking about resignation, and advisory council convey him that they are with him, and we have our responsibility, and we have to fulfill it. Yeah. So it is, news is confirmed. He was thinking, but now it. In last 10-15 hours, there is no further update from the Dr. Yunus side what he is going to do. That is, finger are crossed now.
So, what do you make of the situation? I mean, he has been facing growing opposition from different forces. The prime party, there is the BNP, which probably will be the front runner if elections are held. Apart from that, even the army chief has said that election should be held by December as soon as possible. So, why do you think these divergences are emerging in Bangladesh? Because after all, his appointment is also through consensus when it happened, after August last year.
Yes, they have completed almost 10 months, and in this 10 months, people aspirations, they were having expectation from the Yunus administration in clearing the mess up what was there during the student-led movement. But the things are unchanged, and the protests are growing day by day. Many groups of the society and the administration or the common people, they have their issues. And this government is not capable to fulfill the aspiration of the people. And at the same time, law and order situation is also very fragile. Second thing, the partition nature of the some of the advisor in Yunus administration, and they have created some obstacle for the other political parties, and they challenge other political party. Like BNP and some of the other political parties, they voice their concern, and the situation become fragile. So army took up a stand, and at the same time, some of the student leader who made their own party, they used to make comments against the armed forces of Bangladesh, and that has created anger among the common people, because people have a trust in the armed forces, and they say that this is the last institution on whom the people of Bangladesh can trust. So army took up the issue, and they made army generals made the Yunus, and then after they made it clear that by December this year you have to have an election. And second thing, the policy issues like the humanitarian corridor and the handing over of the Chattagong port, this type of issue, you don't have a mandate. So for that you need to have a concessions, and at the same time elected government can take such type of decision, which is very crucial. It may create a long-lasting effect on the security scenario of Bangladesh. So in that way, the many intellectual people are also supporting the
it is
army
a concerning
stand.
situation, because if Bangladesh is caught up in another sense of any sort of turmoil, it impacts India as well. How concerned should India be, and is it really a genuine sort of issue that has cropped up as far as Mohammed Yunus is concerned? Does he really want to resign, or is it a sort of a ploy to make the army and these parties sort of fall in line, because there might be no alternative really as far as a government is concerned, a consensus government is concerned? Let me bring in Ashok Sajjanhar, former senior diplomat as well. Ambassador Sajjanhar, what do you make of the situation? Do you feel that Mohammed Yunus genuinely wants to quit, or he is sort of baiting the army and those who have been opposing him that, look, I will resign if you don't let me do what I'm doing. I don't want to hold elections right now. I've said that I'll hold them in June next year.
Yeah, thank you very much, Gautam. I would tend to agree with you. I think, to my mind, this appears to be a pressure tactic. Basically, because we found that all the major forces in Bangladesh, they are coalescing against him. Bangladesh Nationalist Party, they had the first protest demonstration on the streets of Dhaka yesterday. This for the first time after the 5th of August that they have come out openly against the interim government and against Professor Mohammed Yunus himself. And of course, we have seen that Mohammed Yunus had come to power as an unelected interim government with the support of the army. But now the army chief, General Waqar-uz-Zaman, has been very categorical in saying that, there should be elections and there should be a popular government. I think as far as the people are concerned, Gautam, they also find this whole situation very untenable, because they had thought that situation matters would improve, both in terms of their economic conditions as also in terms of law and order, freedom of speech, etc. And in all these areas, over the last 10 months or so, we've been seeing that the situation is spiraling downwards rather than improving. It's getting worse. And what Mohammed Yunus is doing is, he has put in place so many committees, high-powered committees to bring full-scale reforms as far as the political system is concerned, as far as the judicial system is concerned. How it is going, moving, no one is very clear about it. Meaning these are all issues that really a legally elected government should be looking at, should be taking care of. But he has, he's unelected. He doesn't really have any experience of governance. He doesn't have any grassroots. His advisors don't have any grassroots, any experience of that nature. So
there are objections about his advisors as well, is what these reports are saying, that they are the ones who are found to be objectionable, particularly by the BNP.
Yeah, you are right. Because this is exactly what I was saying, they don't have any experience, they don't have a mandate, they are very impulsive. So, rather than having, as if it's a elected government, there is a cabinet, there is a prime minister, there's a joint responsibility of the cabinet. There would be one minister who would speak for her or his own area of charge, her or his area of responsibility and portfolio. But here everyone is shooting their mouth off. And obviously, as far as the political parties are concerned, and they owe their allegiance more to Mr. Muhammad Yunus rather than to any of the political parties. So for them, like Nahid Islam, he was an advisor, he's supposed to be very close to Muhammad Yunus. He set up his own party, National Citizens Party. He has ambitions and aspirations of fighting elections. So, as far as he's concerned, if the elections are delayed a little bit, it doesn't really matter all that much to him, but it is the established parties like the BNP. And of course, we have seen over recent weeks that the Awami League has been disenfranchised. So, they'll not be able to compete in the election. So, the road is very, very clear as far as the BNP is concerned. And the BNP wants to sort of, they've been out of power now for more than 15 years. So, they are very keen to get back to power and to hold the reins of power in their own hands. So, they would not like this situation to continue. And they would like the elections to be held as soon as possible. And the same seems to be the desire and interest of the army chief, because all the responsibility of maintaining law and order is falling upon their shoulders, and there is no legally elected government that can really be asked to take decisions.
Right. Just to be fair to Professor Yunus as well, it's just been 10 months, like you said. Is it fair to expect him to wind up the things that is put into motion and then hold elections even when he feels that the situation in the country is not stable? I mean, we had what happened in August, and then after that there was so much unrest, total breakdown of law and order. Minorities were targeted. India raised objections about that several times, raised that with Bangladesh as well. Do you think the situation is worse now than it was at that time?
You see, his responsibility, what was his mandate when he came to office? When he was elected as the chief advisor, interim government, etc. His mandate was very, very simple. Try to restore peace, try to restore law and order within the country and hold elections. It was not to sort of, start governance all over again, have economic reforms, have legal reforms, have judicial reforms, have, press freedom, etc., all those reforms. Those are reforms that a duly, legally elected government that has to sort of, take on board. So I think his mandate was very limited. If he goes about expanding the mandate and then he is not able to, control the situation, because matters will deteriorate. I think this is this was known right from the very beginning. If he had come and he'd come with a sort of, mantle on his, halo around his head, okay, he was coming to restore peace. And if the policies that had been followed, basically to ensure peace, law and order, and then declare, after 5th August he had come, that, by October, November, December, we are going to have elections. I think there would have been, in my view, and I have visited, in fact, Bangladesh once after the Yunus government came to power. And I think things were quite all right, what I saw. So actually things have been deteriorating further than when they were, in the initial months after the takeover by Mr. Muhammad Yunus.
Okay. So in such a situation, how concerned, how wary should India be? How should it prepare for another phase of uncertainty and unrest in Bangladesh?
Yeah, I think India needs to be very, very concerned for more reasons than one. It is not only the instability, it is not only the lack of law and order, it is not only the animosity and anti-Indian stance of the Yunus government, but also the fact that he is collaborating with Pakistan. He's bringing in Pakistan. We've seen that the first time there have been sort of, Foreign Office consultations. We've seen visits of senior army officers from Pakistan. We've seen a visit of ISI officials, senior officers from Pakistan. They have come, they have visited border areas with India. He has also tried to reach out to China, Gautam. As Mohammed Yunus, he went to China in March and he said, sort of, thumping his chest, he said, we are the guardians of the Bay of Bengal, and there are these 7 landlocked states in the northeast of India, inviting China to come to Bangladesh to, enhance production and manufacturing there. Also, there are talks of, revival of the Lal Monir Khat Air Base near Siliguri, which is quite close to our Chicken's Neck or the Siliguri corridor. So these are all matters that are of great concern and great worry as far as India is concerned. And India is watching this situation very carefully. Now with our situation where, our relations with Pakistan also going downhill, and seeing that China has been supporting Pakistan in its, activities, military activities against India. And so, this nexus between Pakistan, China and Bangladesh, all of it coming together, I think that really raises concern for us. And I'm sure the Indian government and Indian decision and policymakers are watching at the evolving situation.
Just wanted to ask you this one question. I'm sorry to suggest it, but Bangladesh is no stranger to military takeovers, just like our other neighbor towards the west that you mentioned. They were, after all, one country at one point of time till it sort of disintegrated. So do you feel that that is also a situation that could crop up?
Yeah, that could crop up. And, I have been and I served in Bangladesh when it was under military rule, and then after that it came under BNP, Begum Zia, etc. So, that definitely is a very real threat as far as Bangladesh is concerned, because it's being used to that. And if, people feel that there is no other way to restore law and order than by the army coming and taking over things. But I think still at the moment there is that prospect of elections. When a government, Gautam, comes to power through elections and it is not able to manage, it is not able to handle things properly, then it is the time for the army to step in. But here, after Sheikh Hasina, interim government and then army coming to take over, I think that would, not seem all that likely. Maybe, whether it is by the end of the year, beginning next year, elections take place, and the situation will still continue to be very explosive, because if Awami League is not allowed to contest and it's only a single party sort of a thing, then of course, there is going to be disquiet, there is continuation of the law and order issues. Yes. And that could really crystallize the situation and polarize the situation.
Yes, without the Awami League, it's primarily the BNP and then a lot of fringe parties, some of which are even fundamentalist.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So it is the...
Okay. So either way, Bangladesh in a very tenuous position. Whether Mohammed Yunus stays or goes, to an extent, might be immaterial at this stage, because larger things have perhaps already been put in motion. Thanks a lot for joining us for the moment, Ashok Sajunar.
Thank you very much, Gautam. Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye. Now, taking India's strong message against terrorism to the world, the third all-party delegation led by DMK member of Parliament Kanimori arrived in Moscow. The delegation was received by India's ambassador to Russia, Vinay Kumar. A busy schedule of meetings and interactions awaits the delegation in Moscow on Friday as well as Saturday. The delegation would carry forth the country's strong message of zero tolerance towards terrorism in all its forms and manifestations. Well, during the course of stay in Moscow, the delegation interacted with senior dignitaries from the Federation Council and the State Duma of the Federal Assembly of the Russian Federation, Ministry of Foreign Affairs and other key interlocutors among think tanks as well as in the media. The all-party delegation is to also visit Slovenia, Greece, Latvia and Spain.
We all know that Russia has been a strategic partner, and we've always worked together on diplomatic issues when it comes to trade, and the heads of our states have always worked together when it comes to important issues, whether it's of global importance or which is of interest to India and Russia. So it becomes very important at this point to reach out to Russia when we have been facing terror attacks time and again. And we've lost 26 lives in India. So the government of India and the Prime Minister have decided that MPs from across the country, from different parties, have been sent to represent the Indian stand on against terrorism and explain our position to the world. So as a part of these delegations which are being sent, one delegation has been sent to Russia, and I've been given the opportunity to head it along with the MPs from Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha to meet people from politics and the think tanks, opinion makers here, and explain the Indian stand.
Let's get you more on this. RT's Umaima Echar has filed this report from Moscow.
Indian lawmakers and former diplomats is arriving in Moscow and will be visiting their Russian counterparts in the Gosduma, Russia's parliament. Now, this is one of the 7 delegations that New Delhi has tasked with visiting over 30 countries in an effort to convey India's approach in combating terrorism amid escalation with neighboring Pakistan after a deadly attack struck Kashmir last month, leaving 26 civilians killed. After a few days in Moscow, the delegation will start its European leg of the tour, visiting Spain, Greece, Slovenia, and Latvia. Delhi's envoys project national consensus and the country's determination to security. They carry Prime Minister Narendra Modi's message that India will not differentiate between terrorists and the powers backing them or bent to nuclear blackmail. Russia condemned all forms of terrorism following the attack on Kashmir. Vladimir Putin emphasized that the perpetrators must be brought to justice and conveyed his deepest condolences to the Indian leader. As long-standing tensions escalated to a military conflict between India and Pakistan, Moscow called on the international community to stand firm against all manifestations of terrorism.
And the UAE as well as Japan have expressed solidarity with India in its fight against terrorism as all-party delegations' diplomatic outreach commenced on Thursday to sensitize global leadership about terror emanating from Pakistan. A delegation led by Shiv Sena MP Shrikant Eknath Shinde held talks in the UAE. The delegation met Sheikh Nahya Mabrak Al Nahya, Minister of Tolerance and Coexistence. Al Nahya conveyed his deep condolences for the Pahalgam terror attack. The delegation highlighted the perpetration of cross-border terrorism and Pakistan's efforts to cause social disharmony in India. The high-level all-party delegation also participated in an interaction event with the Indian community in the UAE, where the members shared the new India and new normal, which has emerged after the dastardly Pahalgam terror attack and subsequent Operation Sindoor launched in response. The delegation will also travel to Congo, Sierra Leone and Liberia.
Exactly 1 month back, news channels were telecasting Pahalgam, 22nd April. Today we are on 22nd of May. The date is exactly the same. The month has just progressed by 1 month. And at that time, the headlines were showing as if India was so helpless that terrorists were saying, go and tell the Prime Minister this is what we have done. Did any one of us ever think that an all-party delegation across all these seas would have started an initiative within 30 days? And here we are on 22nd of May, and I can assure you, by 22nd of June, we would have done so much more. That is progress, that is the work, that is the achievement that we are doing.
And the all-party delegation led by Shiv Sena MP Shrikant Shinde met with Director General of the Anwar Gargash Diplomatic Academy, Nikolai Mladenov, in Abu Dhabi on Friday. The delegation visited the UAE to brief on India's response to the 22nd of April Pahalgam terror attack and its broader fight against cross-border terrorism. And another all-party outreach delegation has been in Tokyo, led by JDU MP and its National Working President Sanjay Kumar Jha. He reaffirmed India's actions against terrorism and told diplomats and representatives from several countries during the global outreach about the new normal in place against terrorism.
How India and Pakistan are different. In thoughts, in every aspect, we are different. And just after 1 week, there was an attack in Pahalgam. Now, as he said, our Prime Minister said, terror and talk cannot go together. Trade and talk cannot go together. And water and blood cannot flow together. So that is the line. Entire 140 billion people are against terrorism. Or you can't be neutral on this. If any country is promoting, financing, training them, how come Osama bin Laden has not found anywhere in the world? He found in Pakistan, just next to their air base. Every terrorist activity in the world has some or other link in Pakistan.
The event also saw ambassadors and diplomats of several countries in attendance. These included Saudi Arabia, Liberia, Micronesia, Singapore, Russia, South Africa, South Korea, Colombia, Brazil and Australia, among others. India's ambassador to Japan, C.V. George, brought to attention the dastardly Pahalgam terror attack. He highlighted the visuals of a terrorist being given state funeral in Pakistan and underscored the new normal in very clear terms as zero tolerance towards terrorism.
It was a clear message that India has zero tolerance for terrorism. We will punish terrorists. We will go to any extent to punish the terrorists. The whole nation came together, the entire country. And the message from now on is this: we have zero tolerance towards terrorism. Blood and water cannot flow together. Terror and trade cannot happen together. And that is the message we are here. When it comes to fight against terrorism, there is no neutral position. You are either in the fight against terrorism or you are supporting terrorism.
Meanwhile, all-party delegation led by JDU MP Sanjay Kumar Jha met with Yasuhiro Hanashi, who is acting chairperson of the Research Commission on Public Security, Counter-Terrorism of the Liberal Democratic Party and former Justice, that is Minister of Justice. During the meeting, India's unified and determined stance against terrorism in all its forms was highlighted. Both the sides reiterated their zero-tolerance approach to terrorism. BJP MP Brijlal, who is part of the delegation led by Sanjay Kumar Jha, expressed happiness that the people of Japan supported India's fight against terrorism. He said that India has been suffering due to terrorism for nearly 4 decades and did not react until 2016.
यहाँ के लोगों ने जो भारत का फाइट अगेंस्ट टेररिज्म है उसको सपोर्ट किया। हम करीब 4 दशक से हम सफरर रहे हैं और आपको याद होगा 2016 तक हमने रिएक्ट नहीं किया। 22 अप्रैल को घटना हुई, पूछ करके, रिलीजन पूछ करके और महिलाओं को मारा। एक लेडी ने कहा मुझे भी मार दो, मेरे हस्बैंड को मार दिया। कहा नहीं, जाओ प्रधानमंत्री को संदेश देना। उसके बाद हम लोगों ने प्रिसाइज अटैक किया। आज पूरी दुनिया समझ रही, आज भी यहाँ एम्बेसडर थे, सबने हमारी स्टैंड को अप्रिशिएट किया है कि हम जो है एक पीसफुल कंट्री है, लेकिन अगर उन्होंने अटैक किया तो ये नया भारत है, मोदी का भारत है। और हम अगर इन्होंने स्ट्राइक किया तो हम वो टेररिस्ट बेसेस को बर्बाद कर देंगे और जो स्पॉन्सर्स हैं उनको भी नहीं छोड़ेंगे।
In fact, the refrain used to be strategic restraint before 2014. Now, the all-party delegation led by JDU MP Sanjay Kumar Jha also met former Defence Minister of Japan Minoru Kihara and Director General of the International Bureau Shinako Shuchiya at Liberal Democratic Party headquarters in Tokyo. In the meeting, the Indian delegation reiterated its strong resolve to fight every form of terrorism. Let me now go across to my colleague Akshay Dongre joining us from the newsroom for more on this. Good afternoon, Akshay. Now, all three party delegations, these all-party delegations have been disseminating India's strong message against terrorism in multiple countries so far, starting with Russia, Japan and the UAE. Now, to what extent is this message finding resonance and traction abroad?
Well, it's finding quite a lot of resonance because the way Pahalgam attack was carried out, the way India has responded, and the way it had, restricted itself to a very, very limited and precision-based strike is a message that the world is just now knowing. It was a bilateral issue between India and Pakistan. Both the countries had a sudden escalation as far as India's action against terrorism is concerned. Pakistan came out in defense. Pakistani army especially came out in defense of these terror outfits that are operating from Pakistan, and that is how we saw after Pakistan's attack, the situation suddenly escalated. It's also ignorance, and it's also lack of understanding, especially in the West, that people do not understand the issue between the issue and the kind of problems that are there between India and Pakistan. How India has been a victim of terrorism for several years, for several decades rather, and how India is fighting back. It's not a fight for just India. It's not a fight of India alone. It's a fight for the world, and it's a fight for a peaceful world, and that is a message that is being spread across the world. The delegation members who are going abroad, they are not only speaking to their counterparts and leadership, they're also speaking to the diaspora, they're going to events, they're speaking to the local population, they're also trying to make the world understand the message that India is giving, the message of peace and a world without terrorism, and that is what is desirable by the rest of the world. In fact, it's just these few countries that we are seeing, especially in West Asia, that are seeing these kind of terror attacks, and especially most of them being traced to Pakistan. It remains a hotbed for terrorism, and India is the first victim of these terror attacks and terror outfits that are breeding there, for several decades now. So that message is getting resonance, especially because these kind of terror attacks have now escalated and have reached each and every part of the world. Some or the other link is always traced back to Pakistan, and that is also one of the main reason that it is getting traction. People are talking about it. People are talking about it online. They're talking about it on social media. Also, they're talking to their local representatives about the kind of bilateral relation different countries maintain with a country that not only breeds terrorists but also funds it and sends it across the world to destabilize it.
Right. And more such delegations are set to go out, to fan out across the world. 4 more of them, in fact. So I'm sure this message will find resounding support across the world as well in many more countries. Thanks a lot for joining for the moment, Akshay Dongre. Now, India's Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri will brief multi-party MP delegations on Friday ahead of their visits abroad, taking India's strong message against terrorism to the world. The delegations led by BJP MP Baijant Panda, Congress MP Shashi Tharoor and NCP leader Supriya Sule will leave for their visits on Saturday, whereas the delegation led by BJP MP Ravi Shankar Prasad will be leaving on Sunday. The all-party delegations will engage key nations under Operation Sindoor, reflecting India's collective resolve against terrorism. And still to come on DD India News Hour. Iran and the US to hold a new round of nuclear talks in Rome amid clashing red lines. The United Kingdom hands over Chagos Islands to Mauritius. India welcomes the move. And record floodwaters in eastern Australia leave 4 dead. Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Gautam Roy. Now, the Trump administration has dropped a bombshell on Harvard University, barring it from enrolling international students and throwing the academic futures of thousands into chaos. Homeland Security claims the move is about national security, but Harvard calls the government's actions unlawful. Here's a report by DD India's Harshita Oberoi.
Harvard University, an academic giant known around the world, is now at the center of a firestorm. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security, under the directive of Secretary Kristi Noem, announced on Thursday that it has revoked Harvard's certification to admit international students through the Student and Exchange Visitor Program. The revocation, set to take effect for the 2025-2026 school year, means that current foreign students must transfer to another institution or risk losing their legal status in the United States. The Trump administration accuses Harvard of enabling anti-Semitism and even coordinating with the Chinese Communist Party, claims the university strongly denies. Officials say Harvard failed to cooperate with demands for data on foreign students and protest activities over the last 5 years. Noem gave Harvard 72 hours to hand over student records and surveillance footage, saying universities must earn the privilege to enroll international students and not take it for granted. Harvard, which hosts nearly 6,800 international students, called the move unlawful and retaliatory. The move adds fuel to a growing confrontation between the Trump administration and America's top universities. In recent weeks, the government froze $3 billion in federal grants to Harvard and this week pulled another $60 million, citing failure to curb anti-Semitic harassment. Secretary Noem confirmed the administration is looking at similar actions against other campuses, including Columbia University. As legal battles mount and universities brace for further action, thousands of international students now find their futures hanging in the balance. Harshita Oberoi's report for DD India.
Meanwhile, China slammed the Trump administration's move to revoke the right of Harvard University to enroll foreign students. Chinese Foreign Ministry said that China will safeguard the legitimate rights and interests of its overseas students and scholars. Dubbing the move as politicization of education, China said U.S. actions will undoubtedly affect its own image and credibility. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has strongly condemned the brutal killing of 2 Israeli diplomats in the U.S., describing it as a cold-blooded act. The staffers were killed while leaving an event outside the Capitol Jewish Museum on Wednesday night. The suspect chanted "Free Palestine" after he was taken into custody, according to officials. The victims, Yaron Lishinsky and Sarah Lynn Milgrim, were a young couple about to get engaged. Israeli embassies around the world have immediately stepped up security.
In Washington, something horrific happened. A brutal terrorist shot in cold blood a young, beautiful couple, Yaron Lishinsky and Sarah Milgrim. Yaron had just bought an engagement ring for Sarah. He was planning to give it to her in Jerusalem next week. They were planning to start a new and happy life together. Well, that tragically did not happen. Yaron and Sarah weren't the victims of a random crime. The terrorist who cruelly gunned them down did so for one reason and one reason alone. He wanted to kill Jews. And as he was taken away, he chanted, "Free Palestine." This is exactly the same chant we heard on October.
Now, the 5th round of indirect talks between Iran and the U.S. will be held Friday in Rome. U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff will attend a new round of talks with an Iranian delegation over Tehran's nuclear program. Providing details of the Trump-Netanyahu call, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said that the Trump administration believes negotiations with Iran are moving in the right direction.
The president spoke to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu today. They had a productive discussion. They discussed many things, including, of course, the tragic shooting that took place here in Washington, D.C. last night. But they also did talk about a potential deal with Iran, which the president believes is moving along in the right direction. And as the president told me, and he's told all of you, this deal with Iran could end in two ways. It could end in a very positive diplomatic solution, or it could end in a very negative situation for Iran. So that's why these talks are taking place later this week.
While Iran Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has said in a televised interview on Thursday that if the US aims to end uranium enrichment, then there will be no nuclear deal. Now, Oman has long served as a mediator between the US and Iran, facilitating quiet diplomacy amid tensions over Iran's nuclear program and regional security. The United Kingdom has signed a deal to hand over sovereignty of the Chagos Islands to Mauritius. In an agreement, Britain has said it will also ensure the future of a strategically important US military base. Under the deal, the UK can continue leasing the largest of the islands, that's Diego Garcia, keeping the key military facility in British and American hands for at least 99 years. It has a deep-water port, an airfield and advanced communications and surveillance capabilities, which have been used in missions to disrupt high-value terrorists, including Islamic State threats to the UK. Death toll from flooding in southeastern Australia has risen to 4 after the body of a man was found in a car trapped in floodwaters on Friday. 3 days of incessant rain have cut off entire towns, swept away livestock and destroyed homes. Streets were seen submerged in floodwaters, with cars up to their windshields in water. According to emergency services, around 50,000 people are still isolated, while residents returning to their flooded homes have been warned to watch out for dangers such as snakes. New South Wales Police described the disaster as a once-in-a-lifetime event. A slow-moving coastal trough has dumped nearly 4 months of rainfall in just 2 days, with some areas receiving up to 200 millimeters of rain, causing life-threatening flash flooding. Rescuers have struggled to reach affected areas, with residents stranded on rooftops and second floors of their homes. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has said he had to cancel his planned visit to Taree, one of the worst-hit towns due to flood waters.
And we're here to basically say very clearly and explicitly, you are not alone. The federal government, state government, local government, as well as the whole of the people of New South Wales and indeed the people of Australia are with you at this time. This is a dangerous circumstance, and even when the rain stops falling from the sky, sometimes the waters keep rising for a period of time. And that is the case in the mid-north coast at this point in time.
Now, on the last leg of a three-nation European tour, India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar is in Germany, where he met German Minister of Economy and Energy Katharina Reiche this morning in Berlin. They discussed ways to enhance talent linkages, industry partnership and joint collaboration to build more resilient supply chains. Dr. Jaishankar also met Dr. Gunther Soter, the Foreign and Security Policy Advisor to German Chancellor Friedrich Merz. They exchanged perspectives on major global issues, including combating terrorism. Chonzin Angmo has etched her name in history by becoming the first visually impaired female to stand atop the world's highest peak, Mount Everest. She accomplished the feat along with Kolkata Police Constable Lakshmikanta Mondal and Geeta Samota with professional Sherpas. Despite losing her vision at 8 due to a reaction to medication, Angmo's journey is a testament to her resilience and courage. She has already climbed several peaks such as Siachen Kumar Post, that is 15,632 feet high, and Unnamed Peak, which is 19,717 feet high in Ladakh, before embarking on her Everest journey. She received a National Award for President of India for the Empowerment of Persons with Disabilities 2024 under the Sarvashresht Divyangjan category. Her journey is a remarkable example of grit, determination and courage. Now, at the Cannes Film Festival, India and its movies continue to draw critical acclaim. Echoes of Valor is a powerfully scripted biopic about an Indian Army soldier's mother and her emotional struggles as well as her strength. The movie stars Divya Datta and Neeraj Kabi. It was launched at the Bharat Pavilion at the Cannes Film Festival. DD India has caught up with director Indira Dhar and executive producer Margaret Zambonini.
We're at the Cannes Film Festival. We just saw a glimpse of a film, Echoes of a Valor. It's a story of a soldier. It's a biopic. It's a story of his parents. And I'm joined by Indira Dhar, the film's director and film co-producer and director, Shayan Ganguly. Welcome to DD India. Indira, first of all, we want to know about this film. How did you thought of this concept and how was the process of going with the film? Because it's a biopic. It's very tough to make biopics.
Well, I belong to India, the land of Ray, Shyam Benegal, Shikhar Kapoor ji, and where this is a biopic of an Indian army parents. And I think we have seen a lot of films on the soldiers, but not much of work on the parents of these soldiers. And bahut time lag gaya. It took a lot of time. It took a lot of time to convince, because she's still alive, Shukla Bandyopadhyay, and we have her blessings with us making this film. And she has been a constant support. And again, I would like to say that why not a story like this? You know, such a powerful story of motherhood, such powerful story of parents, you know. And I think Divya and Neeraj, both of them, they are so attached to this film. They have been like a family member for us. And Shukla Bandyopadhyay, jinka biopic hai, she was very comfortable with us throughout the process of making. So I would like to thank my entire team, my actors, my producers, for being so patient with me. It was not an easy film to make. This film also focuses on mental health a lot, and to see the light at the end of the day. So that's what I want to say.
Shayan, you tell us about, you compose the music of the film as well. So tell us about the process of making a film and giving a tribute to an unsung hero and his parents.
See, ideally this movie is a journey of a mother and motherhood. So we all know, like, we are all, I mean, all mothers are our best friends. So we generally do not think of having a theme for a mother. But this movie actually gave me the opportunity to think that to create a theme for my own mother.
Whenever we talk about our army personals, Indians really get very emotional. So that one, I think it's kind of a responsibility whenever you're doing a biopic of a army person. That was really difficult. It was a challenge.
It was learning. It was a great learning, enriching. And as a filmmaker, I think making a biopic is something which is, in my second film, you know, Putul, everybody knows it reached the Oscars. But I had a lot of responsibility in making a second film which would make a lot of sense. So I wanted to make a biopic. And yes, army families, they are beautiful. They are so courageous. It's so much to learn from them. And somewhere I've changed as a person, evolved as a person, making this film, getting attached to Shukla ma'am personally. So that's what.
Echoes of Valor, it's a tribute to our soldiers, tribute to the courageous mothers of India who have given everything for their country. With camera person Sumit, this is Jaya Sinha reporting for DD India from Cannes Film Festival.
That's all we have for this edition of DD India News Hour. But before we go, let us leave you with the song Sindoor, a heartfelt tribute to the bravery and sacrifice of our armed forces. Thank you for watching.
सिंदूर नहीं मिटने देंगे, तिरंगा नहीं झुकने देंगे, अब जुल्म नहीं हमको सहना, मेरे देश का यारो क्या कहना। रग रग बोले जय हिंद, हर रग बोले जय हिंद, ना दम से झुके ना डर से डरे, जय हिंद। रही थी वो आग, हर आंसू ने संकल्प लिया, हर दिल में गूंजी पुकार, सिंदूर नहीं मिटने देंगे, सिंदूर नहीं मिटने देंगे, तिरंगा नहीं झुकने देंगे, तिरंगा नहीं झुकने देंगे, अब जुल्म नहीं हमको सहना, मेरे देश का यारो, मेरे देश का यारो क्या कहना, मेरे देश का यारो क्या कहना, बहनों रे फिर बहना कहना, मेरे देश का यारो क्या कहना।
जो मासूम लहू से खेल गए, खंडर बन गए उनके किले, हर गोली ने जो जख्म दिए, चुन चुन के सारे बदले लिए,
सिंदूर नहीं मिटने देंगे, तिरंगा नहीं झुकने देंगे, अब जुल्म नहीं हमको सहना, मेरे देश का यारो, मेरे देश का यारो क्या कहना।